Thanks for staying with us. This morning we're going to be talking about PMS. So if you recall, last Thursday, the Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, Ahmed Ali, faulted the over 6 trillion naira allegedly being paid as fuel subsidy on the petrol. So NNPC also said this morning, as I said, they only produced about 60 million. However, he was insisting that the NNPC actually does produce 98 million litres of PMS daily. And also, he said that about 38 million litres of PMS is the difference, is being released, obviously, to external markets. Now, we'll be having a conversation with an expert a bit later on this. But we'd like to hear your thoughts on different aspects, especially because on the front page today, NNPC did come out to say that if they did remove subsidy and add other landing costs and all that, we end up paying 462 naira to the litre. So the question is this sustainable? Are Nigerians prepared to pay this high? And do you think the Controller General is right by suggesting that we're actually producing or releasing 98 million litres to the market when NNPC is insisting they only release 60,000 litres to the market? What are your general thoughts on this? Because at the end of the day, we're expecting Dangote's refinery, and we're hoping that should reduce costs. Will the cost really reduce? We'll get an expert to give us all these explanations. But first, what are your thoughts on the potential 462 naira we may be paying if indeed subsidy is truthfully, realistically removed? You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet us at TVC. Can I please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets? Nima, let me let you start.
Okay, so
what are your thoughts on this?
No matter what NNPC says on this, I'm on the Controller General's side of things. The reason is because NNPC, up until the Controller General was before the Finance Committee, did not tell us clearly or reiterate why they insist on 68 million litres daily consumption.
60.
The 68. The Controller General is saying there's 98. NNPC is now saying it's still 68. Initially, they said 60. Now they said it's now 68, just to cover the difference. And they're now opening their books that was not open till they become a private limited or a public company till now. They're now saying, no, bring your auditors, we'll open our books. NNPC have no clean books. Personally, that's what I think. Because you're a company and you're supposed to be making revenue, you insist that you pay subsidy and you cannot pay revenue, and we have to borrow. The books have never been tidy. So many gray areas. So I don't trust the NNPC as an entity. I think that, the House Committee and the Senate Committee on Finance should do more to probe the NNPC directors, past directors, whoever has held, and even the Minister for Petroleum, who is the president, for having the last call on things in that area. Now, the Controller General is saying, even if it is the 68 million that the new one they arrive at that we are consuming, how can it be released daily and consumed daily? And even me as a car owner who uses petrol, logistics-wise, if I buy a full tank, I use it for a week, and you say you release 68 million daily. If it's the same number of us using it, how come we go up all of that and use it up all daily? Which is one of the questions the Controller General is asking. It's like fetching water in a drum that lasts you 3 days. If you spend 300 naira fetching water in a drum for 3 days, now you can only do another day filling it up with 100. No, I'm telling you, it's
no, but they didn't say 3 days.
I'm using common sense. No, that's an example.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but let's
I'm making an example here.
Let's do it properly.
Wait.
If you fill your drum in the morning, right? What he's saying is that I fill my drum in the morning and I take it and I travel, and it travels all across the country. That drum coming back to where it was filled is almost logistics-wise, it doesn't sound like it's realistic for you to refill again and then the next day
sell.
That was it.
But what if it is different people? There are
I'm using the
drums.
consumer's calculation now. If I fill my drum 300 naira for 3 days, how come somebody is explaining to me that what they release to me is the same amount of water for every day? That's what I'm saying. So if what you have given me is lasting me 3 days, it means that 2 days have been removed from my own consumption. Somebody else, explain to us how.
Like giving somebody else, okay.
So if we now cross border, you will see that black market is cheaper in Cotonou. Pump price there, yes. And black market is what most people would buy. And so we know where our fuel is going, from Sanusi and Okonjo Iweala.
There wasn't a probe with Desiani when they
but
went
for NNPC to come and
time.
clash with the Controller General, whose gates they pass through. No, they are clashing now. He's saying 98, they are saying 68. Okay, I don't talk.
No, but my own is that, where did Controller General get 98? I've not seen 98 figure at all. He came up with
no, now they release that. It's the NNPC releases.
Okay, so...
They say we consume... Sorry, Miriam. I read the story last week.
Yes.
It says NNPC will consume 68 million, but they released 98 million.
Where did he get that information from? How did he know how
NNPC is coming out to say, we are insisting you consume. Nobody's telling us what we release. See, fuel is not disappearing.
Can I just read what he said? Because you're saying there are some figures I think we need to clarify. Okay. You may be mixing them up. So the figure he's saying, and this is coming from customs, is saying that based on NNPC's computation, yourselves, they have claimed, as NNPC claims, that we're consuming 60 million litres of PMS per day. And also by NNPC's computation that they release 98 million litres per day. So there's a difference of 38 million. So Customs is asking, so where's the 38 million going?
Thank you.
Where is that difference going?
Why would you release
since
extra?
We cannot figure out where that is going, that is where the allegation of, are we sending it outside our country?
And a further conspiracy corruption is that, why would you release 38 million extra? You are coming out to insist what we are consuming. You are not discussing what you're releasing. Okay. And based on what you release is what we calculate the subsidy will pay.
Yes.
So you cannot put us in debt and not be able to explain that gray area. Now, if you want to compare to other countries that produce oil, they trace every litre and they'll be able to account for every litre to the last bus stop. Why is NNPC unable to account for every single litre to the last bus stop, to the last consumer?
Yeah, so that's my own question. That's my own question as well, really, to have NNPC respond to these questions. And because whether we like it or not, our whole country depends on it. We're constantly borrowing money, and we have an 11 trillion naira bill that we're planning to put towards subsidy. Subsidy that we have been paying for so many years. And as of today, we're still arguing how much we're supplying, how much we're consuming, where it's going. So what has happened in these few years that we have let things go, that we have not put an eye properly on what we are spending money on? We are borrowing money. Education is at risk. Health facilities at risk because we're borrowing money to pay for subsidy. And yet, in 2022, we're arguing how much we're supplying, who is consuming what, if there's really smuggling going on, or if it's just a group of people sitting down and making money off of this subsidy. It is important that these questions are answered, and it's important that a proper forensic investigation and audit is done on NNPC. Like yesterday, I just don't understand that in 2022, at this point when we're even discussing whether we should go on with subsidy or not, we're discussing how much it is that we're supplying and where the supply is going. It should not be rocket science. I mean, it leaves a trail. Oil would not just, disappear into thin air. There is a place that is being offloaded, and there's a place that it goes. What roads? Who are the companies that who are the companies that are supplying these things? Right. How many trucks are supplying it? What time of the day are they leaving? When do they get to their depots? All these things should just be normal for us.
Because maybe you have the data and I don't have it. Because from all the reports I read, there's no way NNPC, maybe I missed it somewhere, NNPC is saying, in fact, that they released 98 million litres. That's where I'm getting confused, because the report I read today and the report I read last week, the 98 million litres came directly from the Controller General. That's my question, because NNPC is telling us they are releasing 60 million, although the finance minister is saying it's actually 68 based on the calculation of how much subsidy she's paying. So where the 98 million litres came from, that's my own question. But either way, let me let you have your own intro before I go on a break.
Okay, so for me, I feel that for every country, for you to solve the problem, you must thoroughly investigate. We have professors in economy. We have people that are studying, doing their PhD. One of the core problems we have as a country right now is how do we pay subsidy? How do we sustain the subsidy payment? Should we remove subsidy? Would I just survive without the subsidy? This is the biggest thesis anybody studying anything related to economy in Nigeria should be investigating. Why do we need to wait for the government to release forensic reports? Where is the place of the people doing the research? We had the professor of transportation come here and say, we've done A, B, C, D. Korokwe cannot sustain Lekki Ekpe Expressway. We cannot have bikes like this. This is what we've studied. This is the emission. That is the kind of thing I want to hear. I don't want to hear assumptions from left, right, and people making conclusions without any clear investigation. So we know for a fact that we're spent trillions. We're going to spend over 6 trillion naira this year on subsidy based on how much we spend every day on subsidy. That is a fact. How do we avoid this? We cannot afford it. So if we are going to be having any conversation, it should be based on, we've done this level of research. This professor of economy is coming with this solution. Right now, we have, all of us are just going to talk here and complain.
I think we're all just a bunch of hypocrites because we know the answers to this question. But
it's not about subsidy removal, Aburayo.
Okay.
I am not against subsidy removal alone.
Many of us...
I am saying that removing subsidy is like somebody is having a headache, you cut off the head.
No.
Deal with the problem. You will still remove the subsidy. But if you don't deal with the problem, the subsidy will just be...
people suffer for nothing. That's
so what is the real problem? The real problem is that we have a corrupt system.
But clean it up first. So that if this 464, if it is the honest, sincere amount of that money, nobody will have an issue paying. But don't make us pay 464 when the actual amount we should be paying is 360 something. Don't use don't use the cost of kiniko other countries to arrive at what we do here. Now we're looking at Dangote, but you're not
Dangote is not the only one.
You're not even factoring local production inside.
There are many other local productions.
Too many corruption.
Let's go because we're talking about the issue, the inadequate or no, the numbers we're seeing.
Yes.
Right? That's one angle.
So let's claim that.
The second angle is the price, the potential price we're going to pay.
Yes.
These are the two issues we wanted to have a conversation. When we come back, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So as I said, we're going to bring in an expert to discuss, and we'll open our phone lines also to hear from Nigerians, because this issue of the fraud, the alleged fraud going on within the petroleum industry, and the fact that Nigerians may be paying 462 to the litre if indeed subsidy is removed. That's our conversation this morning. And we're referencing the conversation by the Controller General of Customs, who was alleging that 98 million litres are released into the market every single day. And it was worried about the logistics of that. So when I look at the calculations, because each truck is about 33,000 litres. So if we divide that, so by 98 million, we're talking about 2,969. That's about 3,000 trucks leaving the depot every single day. So when he says logistics, he's saying that if 3,000 trucks leave today, those 3,000 come back again to load for exactly for the next day. That's what he's saying. So that doesn't make any logical sense. So there's all some kind of fraud going on somewhere, and the numbers are not adding up. That's on one angle. The second angle is, are Nigerians prepared to pay 462? And if indeed we're able to resolve this possible fraud, would it reduce the cost of importation? Would it reduce the cost of subsidy removed? Would it reduce the cost per litre to the person? That's what Nigerians really want to know.
Please, I want to talk about the refineries because, you know, we've been talking about Dangote Refinery like that's the only refinery. And I've read and I've seen openings of other private refineries. According to the report I'm reading, we have a private refinery in Imo, Delta, Edo. OPAC Refinery in Kwale has been unable to, and all these local refineries are not getting crude oil to produce locally. So we have refineries that are not working. Here, the OPAC Refinery in Kwale said that they got checked and approved by the defunct DPR. But after they've been approved, NNPC refused to give them crude oil. And now they have capacity to refine 10,000 barrels per day, but they don't have crude oil to refine. They are not working. So these are local refineries in Nigeria that would have dropped the cost of us getting petrol and diesel in Nigeria that are not working.
You must understand there are other factors that could
So the conversation, according to what the report was saying, was that the policy NNPC is using now is what they call direct. They do like a direct exchange where they give direct sale, direct purchase. But they are alleging that some of these crude oil trades are not going to put their own refinery. And if we're actually doing a direct sale and direct purchase, we shouldn't be paying this much cost as we're paying. Is it true that NNPC hasn't given local refineries crude oil officially? If it is true, what is the problem? Because
so I think it needs to be backed up by legislature, because I know that giving modular refineries the license to refine is a whole different... And so that's a different conversation.
You must also give them crude oil, because they're not having to source crude oil from private...
I remember the vice president
companies
was trying to push for this, and we need to know exactly what happened, because there was a time he was campaigning that we must empower modular refineries to work. That's the only way we can support NNPC to supply to those, and even trace how much.
Because the reports came because they were complaining that private refinery operators in Nigeria are groaning under the lack of NNPC supplying them crude oil.
As I said, there are other factors, because there are also health factors, there are mechanical factors, there are what's the health and safety issues. There are various factors that many private companies may not be able to do like NNPC. So yes, I agree with you, but let us also get the full picture.
You're not trying to understand.
Let's get the full picture.
Why would you license a person
it is
to invest what it takes to build a refinery?
My point
no matter how small, why would you allow a person invest in building? License the person to, because if you don't license, you can't even sell kerosene inside tank. So if they don't, why would you license a person to build and run and then refuse to supply the crude? Is he supposed to go and buy his crude outside? If you are not, because that's why some people say business, to do business in Nigeria is like, kidney gun.
Wait. Let's take this call from Emeka. Good morning, are you there, Emeka? Hello, Emeka, sorry for keeping you. I do apologize. I kept you for a long time. Yes, Mariam, you're going to say something.
My own is, we are borrowing trillions for our economy.
And they said we shouldn't remove subsidy now. That's just
we've had ministers and Minister of State for Petroleum. We have, I mean, where were their eyes? What is really the function of keeping, who is supposed to help keep a check and balance? Are we saying that our NNPC and our Ministry for Petroleum, they are in cahoots in bringing, in mixing up these numbers? Because if we have data that shows this is the amount of petrol that we carry, that's offloaded, and we have data that shows amount that's consumed daily, and we have data that shows amount that's consumed annually, where is the confusion? Why can't someone just exactly tell us where the products are going, where the money is going? And the problem about taking down subsidy, I think we're rushing over that. We need to be careful about it. I agree that subsidy should be taken off. I agree. But then we already have, what we're discussing now is that the price is based on the subsidy that, I mean, the amount we have been borrowing for subsidy, it has been tainted by the corruption that's obviously going on in that sector. The numbers are not right. So definitely the amount of money that has been put towards the purchase of petroleum product is not right. That means it has been hiked up based on the corruption that is happening. So if we take out subsidy, it would almost mean like a punishment of Nigeria, punishing Nigerians for daring to take off subsidy if we do not address this, the issue of corruption. How much really does it cost? What are these landing costs that we constantly hear about? How much does it cost to bring properly, if we follow the data and we do a proper forensic audit? Would we know how much it really costs for us to bring in petroleum products and how much it will cost, even with subsidy, to Nigerians? If we knew that for sure, maybe we will be able to afford subsidy. Maybe the problem is not even the subsidy that is the problem, but the fact that so much has been put on top of that subsidy to hide whatever corruption that's happening. If we take out subsidy, I believe that it would make it open, like how much Nigerians can pay for petroleum products. But if NNPC is still in charge solely of bringing in these products, how are we not sure that this landing cost and whatever cost that they say exists would not be passed on to Nigerians and people are sitting down and making money off us? It's not fair. I feel that at the end of this conversation, let's not just make it a conversation thing. At the end of this conversation, this administration can do itself a big service by making sure we know exact numbers, how much it is that we're paying for petroleum products, how much Nigerians will pay really for this product.
Okay, let me take our guest has been holding for a minute, please. Let me take Dr. Onyeka Obiare. He's a financial and engineer, economist, consummate investment banker, and serial entrepreneur. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being here, sir. So we've been discussing before you came on two main issues: the discrepancy between what the Comptroller General was saying about the amount of 98 million litres being released to the market from NNPC, while NNPC is saying that they actually have 60 million from NNPC, but the finance minister confirmed 68 million litres based on how much subsidy has been paid. But in your view, what is causing this discrepancy? And just like Mariam said, why can't we just have a government honestly come out and tell us exactly the numbers? Why is everything such shrouded in secrecy? Let us know exactly how much we are consuming as a nation and where the discrepancy is.
I actually blame the media. I actually blame you guys in the media space for not doing investigative journalism and media work in Nigeria. There is no ambiguity here. There is no even confusion. You know, it's very simple. Nigeria is not the only country that imports white petroleum products. But the problem is that the media and the rest of Nigeria National Assembly are too lazy. I'm sorry to use that word, to do their jobs of just simple investigation, forensic audit that unveils the fraud in the system. We have a regulatory agency in Nigeria in charge of downstream oil and gas sector, the DPR, Department of Petroleum Resources. The DPR records every single liter of petroleum products that lands in every depot in Nigeria. The DPR unambiguously told us in 2020 February, before the National Assembly, that our daily consumption average has been around 38.5 million litres. Historically, look back, under the Ziani, in 2011, when Nigeria was experiencing a boom, we were told that our average consumption was between 38 to 45 to 47 to 2 million litres a day. The National Assembly conducted the investigation and discovered that almost half of what they said they brought in were Ponzi games. Kachukwu Ibe became the Minister for Petroleum, State Petroleum Resources and the GMD of NNPC in 2016 and did an audit and told us that it averages between 28 and 35 million litres a day.
Okay.
Remember that the people that import this white petroleum product cannot boast. The Glencores, the Trafficurers, and the Muko and all the rest of them, Petrol, they render reports and returns in host countries where they operate for tax purposes. They render the volume that they sell and where they take those volumes to. The U.S. Energy Administration Agency has a record of every petroleum product export, every country in the world. Their own record shows clear that Nigeria averages between 38 million to 48 million litres a day. So, are you guys not even worried that these numbers keep on fluctuating? Last year alone, this year alone, NNPC told us they moved the numbers from 50 to 73 million litres to 93 million litres, even to 102 a day. And people don't ask questions. Nobody bothers to find out from them. Who are the ghost consumers of this product? The DG of Customs, Ali, is right. They told us that 50 million litres were smuggled on a daily basis. To smuggle 50 million litres of PMS would require 1,800 super tankers, long haulage tankers. If you put those tankers on the road, line them up head to head, they will cover about 12.7 kilometers of road. How come? And they will require about 10,000 people to operate them. How do they pass through our borders? Customs and nobody sees them. These are Ponzi schemes. And if you look at the consumption volume of our neighboring countries, if you add up all their daily consumption volumes, from Cameroon to Benin Republic, to Niger, to Chad, to even to Togo, it's not up to 9.6 million litres a day. So we keep on allowing these guys, even India stated that clear that anytime there is increase in petroleum price in the global market, that is when they decide to increase the number of volume that they claim or purport to have imported here to enable them to play Ponzi games. You know, it has become so opaque. Nobody is asking questions. Nobody is auditing anybody. Whatever they give to us, we'll swallow hook, line, and sinker. The only way we can stop this criminality in our downstream oil and gas sector, this Ponzi scheme, is to fully deregulate that market, privatize the refineries, and remove this subsidy monster. And people say, we are not going to be punishing Nigerians by removing subsidy. Let me tell you what will happen. They claim they are going to be spending 6.7 trillion naira in 2023. Half of that money, if you use half of that money to do palliatives, every local government area can easily have 20 buses. 10 articulated trucks and cars that will provide free transport services for the next 2 years for Nigerians who are able to show their tax identification numbers. We've read the numbers. Each state will not spend more than 15 to 20 billion naira. And if you remove the subsidy scheme, every state can get as much as 15 billion naira extra into their treasury, but they will not allow them to have that money. So the governors will not loot it.
Okay,
allow the excess funds to move to the National Sovereign Wealth Fund and to drive it. See, the truth.
Dr. Emeka, let me pause you for a second. I think, Dr. Emeka, let me pause you for a second. Talk about what's the question. Yes.
Okay, sir. I hear you, and you know we always come up with this amazing suggestion. The minister already said that based on the current deficit that we had this year, by next year there will be no funds. They don't intend to fund capital projects next year. So even if they remove subsidy, the likelihood is they would want to spend it on capital projects. What would you suggest is the best use? And the current calculation we saw today was that subsidy is going to be costing, if we remove subsidy, each Nigerian will be spending over 400 naira per litre. Do you believe that that's the right calculation for the cost of fuel getting to each Nigerian's hand? And how best do you think we should spend our subsidy removal funds, what we save from subsidy? Actually, you already answered the second question, so just answer the first one.
Okay.
Dr. Emeka, are you there? Okay, we'll go on a break. When he comes back, we'll get him to answer that question. Stay with us. We'll be right back.